Hello, my zesty peoples. Welcome to another live stream. Today we're going to be demoing the new layout tool. We're calling it Zesty Layouts, and this is available through the marketplace. So today we're going to show how that runs inside of Instance. We're going to play with the layout tool itself. We're also going to connect it to Next.js, and we're going to connect it to Parsley. So we're going to show two ways to leverage the layout tool. So let's just get started. Alright, so let's first, I have some of the code open here, but let me first just jump to the marketplace and we'll show. So inside the marketplace, I have an instance selected, which is our demo instance in Zesty. We call it Zflix. It's pretty much a Netflix knockoff. You can see what that looks like here. This is like the live site, which you guys could check it out. I'll post the link in chat. So this is the Parsley version of the website here, and this is all rendered with Parsley. And we're going to show how to use the layout tool both with Parsley and with Next.js. And first we're going to show how we would install the tool. So go to the Zesty Marketplace / Marketplace. You now have it available inside of your actual editor, inside your manager, excuse me. You're going to see a plus button for Marketplace, and you'll see this Layouts is already installed here. But if you hit this plus button, it's going to fire open Zesty Marketplace for you, and it's going to fire it open with the with your instance selected. So it'll give you the link automatically, and it'll send you right to Zflix, which is the instance I've selected. So that little button loads up Marketplace with what you have selected. And if you go to any of these apps, this one is the Layouts tool, which we're working with. We'll see that this one's already installed. Let's just open it up and show that. This one's installed. So I've already clicked this button installed, and I have access to in my manager. So from here, how Zesty works is, there are these content models. In this Zflix setup, we have something called movies and shows. And we can look at all these. These are movies and shows registered. And the one we're going to look at is Despicable Z, for all the people who have kids that like to watch this movie. It's pretty funny, the Minions. This is the one we'll be playing with. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be modifying the layout for this content model. It means that every one of these pages will adapt to that layout. We're going to show how that works. So I'm going to click into Layouts. And Layouts is going to start me off with nothing. So I'm looking at an empty canvas. In order for me to actually start working as something, I need to change my model. And the one I'm looking for is going to be called Movies and Shows. Click it here. And I already had a base for this, so I'd already started with a couple things loaded. And we're going to look at what the output of what that is loaded. So I think it's just Despicable Z here. And you'll see this beautiful layout is occurring here. And I say that a little facetiously, but CSS can be applied to control this. Right now it's pretty generic. So we're going to go ahead and look at what is happening. We're going to get some side-by-side action here. I'll need this open here. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask in chat, or any comments, welcome to jump in and comment. So we are going to just try to organize this workspace a little bit better. Hopefully that works out well. And so this one is loading in Parsley, and I'll show the connection in Parsley before we get going. I got to turn off my Slack. That way you guys don't hear those notifications and drive you nuts. And I'll turn off my Discord as well. Speaking of which, join our Discord channel. Provide the link in chat. And somebody from Zesty can drop that Discord invite link in chat for me. So we're connecting this visual layout to this particular page here, and I'll just demonstrate moving. So this is my description. I want to move description over to the left. I hit save, and then refresh my page here, and you'll notice I now have a description here, and it goes film logo, title, description. So you can see the film logo, the title, and the description. And these again these styles, these can be targeted by the styles that they applied. So I'm going to show in Parsley how you output this in Parsley. And that's done by going over here. We'll just look at code. And the thing we're editing is movies and shows. And it's a very simple one line in Parsley. And you can find this on zesty.org in documentation. But this is it. It's just this.AutoLayout. And you put the word auto in there. And that's going to take the output over here. And it's going to render it with a specific setup. I'll show you what the code actually looks like here. But you'll see it will apply some style names to it. PVL rich text area, PVL rich text. So you can actually take these style names, PVL container, PVL root, and you can add your own styles to style them and target them specifically. So that's what happens behind the scenes. So in Parsley, single line, you just go into your relative view for your model and you drop this line in. It's going to automatically output this, whatever the layout ends up being. So we're going to go back into layouts and we're in our movies and shows, right? And how you get to that, you can change your model here. Again, just making sure we have movies and shows selected. It's loaded. And then there's some nice hotkeys inside of this. You can check it out. If you click hotkeys, you can see there's hotkeys to change the model, Command S to save, Command P to publish. And then you also have undo and redo, which we'll demonstrate. And there's different modes you can see now too. We have another mode coming out shortly. This is an app that's going to be constantly getting updates for visual improvements and usage improvements, but we're showing off how it works today. But the next mode is going to be, there's just going to be the layout preview, but there's also going to be the page preview. So what I have open on the right will soon be available as one of the options over here, so you don't even need to find this particular page. So continuing to work with the layout, on the right hand side of the layout tool, we have some design tool options. And then down below we have content. So right now this is like our bank, and this is, any of these things are drag and droppable in. So if I want to search content for movies and shows, it's going to show me the content model and the different options I have access to. So these are the fields I have access to: title, film, movie, still clip, poster, description. And then above I have my layout tools, and right now it's pretty minimal, but we have like a horizontal rule and some different column options, some white space, and you can move these around into different areas. You know, move that up. So if I want to move that white space here, hit save, refresh this. You'll see I have my column. You don't really recognize my white space there, but that's the way it's rendering with the CSS we applied. If we can also look at the layout preview, and we're going to be working on better integrating this. So this is the layout preview, and it's kind of the vanilla look. Because if you're working in Next.js, which we're going to, you'll see we'll be able to apply a very different treatment to this by using like custom components of Next. So when you're working with Parsley, you really only have access to you know, styles and CSS class names. Whereas when you're working in React, you can actually apply full components and do really some large modifications to this view. So in the layout tool, there's this layout here, and this generates a generic render of what it would look like. I mean, it could look like this too if you applied your CSS. And you can see on the right, it definitely represents that. So coming back over the layout, like I definitely don't like my description here. I want to move my description below, and I'm going to get rid of this. So you see as I'm drag and dropping, deleting, I'm going to minimize my toolbar over here with Control B. So now I have film logo, title, shows poster, hit save. I'm going to refresh, see what this looks like. And now I'm getting something a little bit more better, a little bit better of a layout, right? And then let's take the title out. Let's move the title up top, save that, and let's see if we're getting a little bit better of a display here. A little bit better. And maybe I want my horizontal rule here. Save that, give it a refresh, and there. So now I'm having a little bit of a better layout, much better looking than before. I could drop another horizontal rule into the mix, you know, kind of have this split. So again, like this isn't very styled over here, but you could have somebody style these rules so it starts working for the layout you're expecting. All right, so what else are we working? There's a still clip over here. I can drop this in. Let's hit save. And I can check it out what it's going to look like in my preview before I refresh my page over here, and then just see this is the look now that we're getting. So again, I don't think this is a very good looking styled thing, but we can modify these styles a little bit just to show you how that works. But over here you can see this is just like, it's not even applying any styles, you just kind of get the generic layout of what the look would be. So again, this is running through the Parsley setup. So, and you can see the layout here that we're working with, which is very simple, 2 columns. So you can put columns inside columns to like really, you know, spice it up. I can drop another column here. I could put the poster here, and I can move the still clip onto the right side of the poster, and now let's see what my layout ends up looking like. A little bit weird, but it creates this now 3-column look because I'm using a 2-column inside of a 2-column, and my rendered output ends up looking like, oops, I just refreshed the wrong page, like this, which is what it is. So that is the, I mean, let's just change up this layout one more time, why not? So let's take this whole box, we can move it out. So now we have this dual column towards the bottom, and I'm going to move the description to the right. I'm going to see what that looks like. Okay, that looks like something I'm okay with. Hit save, and now I can refresh my rendered page and see how it looks on my rendered page. And it's starting to, and however you want to spin it, but these could be, again, controlled. So let's look at, in behind the scenes in Parsley, how we can actually control this. And I want to say we did AutoLayout less, so it's seen here. So what this is it's targeting, so custom PVL, PVL column, PVL texture, PVL rich text. Let's take a look at what this output generated by just inspecting the source. And you can see that this whole thing is wrapped inside of PVL-container, and then there's a PVL root, text area, etc. So let's go ahead and modify this. This is called, we called this custom PVL. So I believe that if we look at the movies and shows file here, you can see I applied custom PVL. So what happened was AutoLayout's going to output like that PVL container and all the generic ones that you saw. But you can also wrap in something custom. So if you wanted to target a different style to different AutoLayouts, you can. So you can control the styling of here. So this one, I wrapped this AutoLayout in something called custom PVL. And we can show that just a little bit more targeted here. So I can just wrap another div around this, give it class name, custom PVL. Div, save that. Give this a refresh. Shouldn't see much change here. So now I can go into my AutoLayout styles here that I'm overwriting. So I have this custom PVL here, and let's just confirm that's exactly what I named it. Yeah, custom -PVL. So now I can modify this. So this is showing in this like very much red color. I can change this red to blue, right? Save that and see it start to be targeted right here. And then this right here is my paragraph, so I could target my paragraph directly here. This and just say font weight 400. See if this applies. Might need to force that in. Let's just verify. So that's P. It's underneath PVL rich text, so I can target that even better. So it goes rich text, and inside of that is a paragraph tag. So I'm going to move my paragraph tag in here, and we'll go with a font weight. I don't know if 400 is available. I'll just go for font weight normal. Spell that correctly. Not happy. Let's try throwing an important at it. It might have an important somewhere else. Still not happy. Let's see. Let's inspect it, see what's happening here. Maybe that is the normal output based upon what we're using. So let's just go ahead and give it a different color and see if that works for us. And this is all in the Zesty code editor. For those of you who've used Next, you're probably not familiar seeing this. So there we're modifying the color there and targeting it. So if we want to add like you know, line height, for example, and give it like 2 EM, make it something crazy. Refresh. We'll see, we're just starting to now modify this thing. So you could fully control the way this gets targeted. So that's the example inside Parsley. It's a simple one-liner. Again, one-liner right here, this.AutoLayout. You can wrap it in a div with a custom class name for CSS. And then you create a CSS file and you can just target the elements and really give control. Like if I wanted to go, I'll do one more example and then we'll move on to working with React. So I can just add some padding, 20 pixels here. Refresh this. And now you see I'm getting padding. So like again, you can control the layout, you can target the columns too, and work from there. If you have any questions about this, you can just ask in chat if you want to give it a shot. Is the Zesty Dev chat and the Discord, or for some of those who are on Slack, you can also write in Slack. So there's the Parsley output. Now we're going to jump into Next.js and we're going to show how we actually use this AutoLayout tool in Next.js. And to do that, I am already started my local host. I have a Zesty. Let's see, clear here. Open the code up. I have a Next.js project that's connected to my Zflix account, and we're going to walk through how I connect that really quickly. But what's important is we're going to launch npm run dev to get our Next.js project running. And we're going to switch this from Web Engine, which this one's using Parsley and has a Next.js setup. It's hybrid. So I'm going to fire up my local host at the same page. And you're going to see a different output. Right? So notice that we have, and I'm going to minimize this now because I don't need that anymore. And I'm not going to be looking at code in Zesty anymore, but I am going to look at the layout tool. So we notice this is still the same layout, it just is outputting very different because there's a different set of styles applied to it. So let's open this here. So again, if I want to move description maybe below, move it here, then move it below the title. Hit save and then refresh my local host. You're going to have to refresh because it won't hot load. It needs to hit a new remote endpoint to see it. So whenever you make a change to any remote data, hot reloads in Next don't get new remote data. They use cache data, so you have to refresh your Next local app. But you can see this is outputting in Next. And we're going to show how that code actually looks. But you can see, so AutoLayout is both, outputting in Parsley. You control Parsley pretty much by wrapping it in custom style sheets and applying style sheets to each AutoLayout. But in Next, you actually get to use components, and we're going to show that off here. So in Next, it's very simple. We have a library called React AutoLayout. So you can search React AutoLayout Zesty, and it's on npm. And the example's here, and I'm going to post this in chat. There. And then it's a one-liner. You just npm install it here. So if I was in my project running here, I would just paste this one-liner and install it into my project. And it's going to install the package you need. And once the package is installed, rerun my Next server. You go to the view you want, and in Zesty, when views synchronize in a Next.js project, they live in views, and then the one we're working on is movies and shows. and we drop the polarization so it says movie and show. And then here you import, and we'll look back at this, is the implementation is you need to have React running, and then you import the auto layout from React, and you simply just call it and you pass the content object from Zesty into it. And notice we're sending a different option because we're actually able to create custom components to line up to our auto layout. So we're going to show that off. So now that I have movies and shows, it's going to be applied to my movie and show output. So this is happening here. So if I was to drop this auto layout code, it'll hot reload, nothing loads. If I paste back my auto layout code, it's going to read the remote auto layout instructions from Zesty and output this. Okay, so let's take a look at how is this happening. We wrote some code. It's all open source, and it's available through that React Auto Layout library posted in chat, so you can see how the code's happening. But we're using a series of recursion, and we're auto-loading components, and we also can inject custom components to load for the specific thing you're looking at. So this one here is custom text area, and this is custom column. And we're going to look at what these components look like. So they're underneath components, and we created one called page layout, and we have a custom column and custom text area. And what's been created here is that we're just throwing in these grid items from Material UI, which we included, and text area is using typography from Material UI. So from here, I'm outputting a custom component. You see that I have a style wrapped in here, but let's just keep it even simpler here. And it's outputting my H2. I could change this to an H4, and I'm going to see the response immediately. So what it's doing is it's wrapping, it wraps the whole entire object being sent, and you can modify it. So I can, add a horizontal rule here, right? So now all my titles and my single text items are going to drop with a horizontal rule, which is quite useful. So, and now if I wanted to say hot load an image, I'm just going to go grab like oceans image, something like this. So copy this image address, and this is just for an example. If I want every title to load with a image of an ocean below it, assuming I can hot load this, let's see. There it is. So now that my title now has the ocean applied to it. So what I'm showing off here is that this is a custom component. You can do whatever you want with it. You can style it a certain way. You can use a library. You could use Bootstrap or Material UI or whatever you want, and you can automatically apply it to each component that the auto layout renders. And just to show off now that this component, this title component, is now attached here. If I move this title, below the fold here, and hit save, Command S, and refresh, you'll see that my title's moved, and also with that image that I moved down there is also moved. So when you're running auto layout in React, you can pass it a components option. If I get rid of that component option, it's just going to go to just vanilla output, so nothing's happening. And notice now my title now just says Despicable Z. It no longer shows that hairline rule or horizontal rule I added, or the picture of the ocean. And if I was to bring it back, I can override text area and column, hit save, and now I'm getting a different look and feel. I'm getting Material UI styling and the additions I added to my custom component. So that is the example of auto layout using React, and we're going to continue to push this further, but just showing it off for now. And it's fun to see that this works. This is backwards compatible to Parsley or with React, and we're going to continue to push this particular product. If you have any feedback, please let us know in chat, or you could just let us know inside of the Discord channel or inside of our Slack channel. and we're excited to hear your feedback. We're excited about this tool. We have a lot coming in store for it. We're looking actually to register custom components here, and even instead of having just these boxes that are hard to understand, we're going to be looking to render some of the imagery that comes from these boxes that you're referencing inside the layout tool to like bring it closer to seeing like what the layout is as you actually modify it. So thank you for tuning in today. I look forward. We're going to be sharing I believe next week is going to be on Thursday is going to be the live editor, and then we're going to be showing off the analytics tool as well. So be sure to tune in, and everybody have a great day. Thanks. Be sure to like and subscribe. Take care.